Okay. Okay, I've added, white background, and we've still got an original layer here, but I neglected to reset. Let's see what, okay. Now let's go find, that brush we created. Alright. As you can tell, it didn't save any spacing information, so still haven't figured out how to do that yet. But I guess we didn't change that, so no big deal. That's part of the preset. But I'm going to go play with some of the other, again, we don't want this brush huge. So that's about good. But look for the space dynamics, and we can, do things like jitter, with it off, they're all the same direction, but jitter causes some orientation differences, and scatter, allows us to scatter it, all over the place if we want, so voila. So we try that without the shape dynamics. That's what basic scattering would look like, without the the ability to have them rotate and so forth. So, and of course there are all these settings, and there's another video I have that goes into some of those a little more detail. So, texture, obviously allows you to apply a texture to them. And you can, change the type of texture, and you can see in the preview what it's going to look like. There's the texture scale, so you can see how that, plays out. The depth, that's how pronounced it'll be. Depth jitter. So
scattering or
scattering, if you don't choose both axes, it's just in a single axis, but both axes is the default. I guess you can change the count of it. I don't think W is a valid input. And we do it by pin pressure. Oops. What's kind of interesting, turning these things all back on. As like I said, you can paint with all of them, everything I preset, but if you actually lock these little locks, then you can move between brushes, and have those same settings apply to any brush you select, apparently. So even though these actually have the presets to them, but It's interesting. It looks like, you know, here my old hair settings were saved, so they didn't seem to be saved elsewhere. But they were saved there, ostensibly anyway. Let's see if we can go to another. Okay, not on that top layer, wherever that is. Fucking hole. Okay, but yeah, it seems to work. So what's interesting, you know, is I've actually selected a brush here. It seems to be applying the, you know, the settings from, you know, that I saved before, to other brush presets. Of course, that's not here because that's a, you know, shape dynamics. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It must have been a bug or something. That was kind of cool. Yeah. But all these down here, you know, I don't know what they do. It's supposed to add some kind of noise to it. I don't know what that means. And airbrush mode, you know, I think that's equivalent to this up here. Yeah, you can see it change when I hit this. Now we're on a, you know, when we're on a basic brush, I want to try an experiment. I'm going to go color dynamics. Okay. You can kind of see what that's doing. Okay, another cool thing is when you're painting, if you hold down the Alt key, you can actually select a color from your canvas, so you can paint in that. You know, of course, we got all these color dynamics turned on, but let me, you know, show you what I'm talking about. So that's kind of handy. Just anytime, you know, any of these painting tools, you know, you just hold that down. Now, let me draw something real quick, and I'm gonna choose like yellow. Okay, it's still got a style attached to it. That's fine though. And oops. Come on. Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta change it up here. Sheesh. Okay. Alright. But if you click on this, okay, there's this new tool in CS5 called the Mixer Brush tool. And oh yeah, that's right, these aren't rasterized. Okay. At any rate, if you go and start painting it, you know, that's interesting. Here. Remember, shift or space bar, you know, and drag. That's how you drag the stuff. Oh, this has become a really complicated layer. You know, but you can see based on the load, you know, if you set the load to God fucking mother. I don't know, maybe I could try mixing it on this. Okay. Now, so what's going on here, you know, it's quite interesting. You know, these are just the default settings. But, you know, the load, you know, tells you how much, you know, your brush mixes in here. So, like I said, I can grab, you know, colors and kind of, you know, extend her hair out a little bit, you know, because it's kind of grabbing colors. It's really not, though, but, you know, if I change the load down to 0%, you know, I guess this works this way no matter what. But the load, you know, is how much paint, you know, is on your brush. But, you know, if you change some of these other settings, you know, your color over here, which is also the color here, you know, is actually picking up. And, wow, that's interesting. I changed it to a pattern. You know, I hit the Alt key, you know, and it sort of changed it to a pattern. That's interesting. I don't know. I wonder what that means. Works differently than you showed in the video. Anyway, the amount of wetness, you know, you get depends on how much, you know, your background color Okay, there we go. You know, I set it to load load colors only. Yeah, I don't know what that did. That's interesting. Huh. I don't know why that was doing that. I mean, I can't get it to go back to doing that. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so that's like a checkbox. But at any rate, you know, I can select, you know, colors with the Alt key, just like I was doing before. But at any rate, you can tell that, you know, that how wet it is, you know, how much you load it. affects how this thing behaves and how much it blends that color with the other color that you're messing with. And an eye disease. Yeah, and this right here is actually a mix key. I really can't see it. These icons are so small, but you know, if there's very little mix, you know, it doesn't do much. But if there's a very high mix, you know, it's almost exclusively the color from the image, and you put it somewhere in between to get the various blends, you know, like you're seeing here, you know, between the base color and like I said, the brush load is supposed to, you know, like I said, you know, they seem to extend out the same no matter what. You know, of course, this is going on forever. But you can see the further I pulled it away, the more it goes to our base color as opposed to the, you know, the brush color. So, but if I push my load up higher, that's what happens. Then I was going to say, you know, this thing here, you know, when you turn that off, you know, it's actually supposedly doing a blend of those colors. So, you know, it's a little hard to tell, but it's actually doing a combination of all the colors like around her eye, an average. That makes you think it's painting with a pattern, which would be kind of interesting, but that's not what it's doing. Okay, and then the other thing too to keep in mind is it does actually have these presets, so you can go to wet, very wet, etc. But you can also change your brush styles. So apparently these things do apply here. And remember, left bracket. Remember, left bracket shrinks it, right bracket expands it, but you got to click on the image first. That's why it wasn't working. But you know, the point is that you know you can paint in these various brush styles, you know, with this. So I mean, you know, you don't have to be stuck with, you know, with one brush style. Okay, and another little trick here is, you know, let's say you wanted to paint on the background layer. Let's go ahead and hide what we did before. But, you know, the thing is, you usually don't want to paint on the background layer, right? So you can go, you know, you can just create a new layer if you want, because I was kind of puzzled by this before, but if you just create a new layer, you know, above the background layer, and you know, you can try to paint on it, but it's not going to reference the you know, the colors. I mean, it's going to be independent of, you know, what's going on now below it. The way to do that is to say sample all layers, okay, and then it picks up on it. So, you know, if I wanted to make her wearing a fuzzy outfit, you know, I could do it like that, you know. Okay, it's the latest fuzzy style from Paris. So, you know, my point is that that's what allows you to actually do that. And of course, I can turn that off or on now as an independent layer above the background layer. So that's kind of solves that enigma. You know, I wouldn't. Oh,